roads experience. And then we're going to show you how we are working in Central America region. Okay, the first case I want to bring you up here is the groundwater contamination. An overview of this case is, let me tell you the history. The history is that way. We have a Caribbean Sun location in Costa Rica. Then one of the local university go to some rural water system in Atlantic Zone. They take some water samples and they found bromocil in the drinking water in a considerable potential risk. And then we don't have a local regulation in Costa Rica, so the people use an Europe regulation for drinking water. So use Europe regulation in Costa Rican and Central American countries was very important. Then the water department, the government taking action, requests our support, like company, like the local company, to create a monitoring program for the water sources. What we offer them is a relatable test in PPVs, and let me keep you in hold and give you some pictures of what we did and a little video, and then I'm going to tell you the final or the end of this part of the history. There is a technical picture that maybe all of you knows. This is the crops, this is the earth, and this is the water, groundwater indications. Actually, this is a nice pictures, and the concept is how pesticides or how fertilizers go deep and make a percoloration into the groundwater. So that is very interesting how is that works. But this is a technical issue. Let me give you some pictures of what we did. We take some samples in this water sample. So this is the process for sampling. So we don't need pumps. Actually, it is just make a box, take the water, and move it for gravity through the pipes. That's it. It's not too complicated. So that the water is, you just make a hole for 1 meter and you get water. That was the big issue because the plantation is around this water source, so the possibility to get contaminants into the water was easier. Okay, and this is the beginning with fruits. Like you already know, if you don't know it, Costa Rica is the first pineapple exporter in the world. Not the producer, the exporter. We produce, but we export all of our pineapples. 7 years ago, sounds like yesterday for me, but 7 years ago, we have a big issue related with ethaphone. Ethaphone is an agrochemical used for different crops, grapes, tomatoes, and pineapples. 7 years ago, 2007, 2008, Sanco generated a draft regulation. Actually, keep like a draft, but they want to go down the MRL tolerance for ethaphone. So it was 2 parts per million, and they want to go to 0.5 parts per million. In that moment, the growers was a little aware about this condition. Why? Because get for 2 parts per million, like MRL, to go to 0.5, that means you need to use another agrochemist, you need to use another compound to get your pineapple ripe. But they don't have another options. So the deal was stress the market, pineapple market or growers would be stressed. And there is important thing, there was not a local labs who take care and make relatable tests. So that's the reason how we started 7 years ago with Eurofins, looking for a lab that give all relatable results for the ethaphone test. What we did, we go with the agricultural department, first in our service, perform a national project to get relatable information for producer conditions associated with the ethaphone compounding farms. Okay, conclusions. Conclusions that what this kind of these two cases have in common. Maybe have many things in common, but there are specific ones that we want to tell you today. For Etefon, relatable information led to the government define that small producers have the big problem with Etefon, not the huge growers. What does that mean? The little producers have to use several times the Etefon in the plantations, so they have huge concentration for Etefon in the pineapples. And in the case of water contamination, it was detected biggest issues and changed the water sources like I already told you. At the end, reliable information let the people take the right decisions. And that is something that we want to move forward. The right decisions not only save money to the people, keep the people safe too and health. Because we are talking about pesticides in waters, pesticide in foods. So there is an important thing. And maybe more than money and more like decisions, a friend of mine showed me that in a lab services business, there are three bicycle things that customers have to know. It's the turnaround time, the quality, and the cost. All of my colleagues know about it. But if you get a triangle and you go in the middle of the triangle and look for other dimension of the service, what we are looking for at the end, not quality, turnaround, or cost. We, in our case, for Central America, and let me underline this word, we don't only think in the test, we think in create awareness or conscience to the producers. That is the reason I came back to the concept. Latin American window. We are different countries, we are different locations, we are producers, we are not buyers. So we want to create a conscience in the people for our farmers. That if they do the things in the right way, they get better productions and then get better results. So if you can keep your, that words